us here on site at Green Acres, or if you're joining us online or watching by video, we're so glad that you wanted to also know a little bit about what I'll be sharing. So we're going to be sending this out, and please share this with others. If you've thought of women that would be willing to be a mentor mom, to step in different capacities of leadership for our mom's ministry, here's the reason, the main reason for tonight is for appreciation. It is for celebration and just to offer you our genuine thanks as you have been serving in this role, various leadership roles for, well, many of you since I've been here, which is 5 years already, many of you, and long before I even came. And so we don't often have a time for us to get together with all of the moms or the mentoring moms and the table group leaders and all of that. And so from time to time, I would love to do that. I'm not going to keep you long tonight. I know your time is valuable. Many of you have already got things for tomorrow night. You had something last night, and it's just going to be, and if you were at the tree lighting, I know you're exhausted if you were at the tree lighting. So I wanted to pull you together. It's, again, for the time of appreciation and just thank you for the way that you're serving and celebration over what the Lord has been doing. I track pretty closely numbers, not for the sake of numbers, but numbers represent people. And that helps us to know. Come on in here, Jerry. How are you? Hey, grab your plate. Go over there and get your stuff. This is very casual tonight. If you want seconds, you just get up. Sorry, y'all. We're having chewies. You cannot get up and have seconds. But we are, and we're having brownies on top of that. So, sorry. Very casual. So, listen, if you have a question, if you want to ask anything or unpack something a little further, this is very casual. This is not a long agenda, something specific that we need to cover. I wanted you to know how much we appreciate your service, your passion to serve women, and to recognize the growth and the impact that you have had as well. I track those numbers pretty closely, and there has been consistent growth in our mom's ministry above and beyond any other ministry under the women's ministry umbrella. There are probably 12 or so different ministries, Bible study. We have a different widows group that meets. We have our discipleship group, all kinds of things. But mom's ministry continues to be an on-ramp, an onboarding process for not only women, young women, but also young families to our church. And so wanted to tell you that, and then to recognize this is an area where the Lord is at work. And I appreciate you jumping in. We learned that from Henry Blackaby. Find out where God's at work and get in. And so this is a great opportunity for young moms, for some mentoring moms to step in and to help us grow. So my main reason tonight is appreciation and celebration. My secondary reason is for preparation. That as we look ahead, I want us to be prepared for what I believe some exponential growth that is coming over the next 2 to 4 years. When I came 5 years ago, I did my due diligence about not only Green Acres Baptist Church, but about Tyler. My husband, as many of you know, was on a journey to heart transplant. My son was about to be released from prison. I didn't know, where we were moving. I wish I had time to tell you the whole story of God's providence. When I got a call from the search committee, I immediately said, no, I cannot, I cannot give permission for you to, my resume and all that. Someone had wanted to submit that. I said, we are on a heart transplant journey, and our home has been approved. This was in Wiley, Texas, for my son to be paroled. And two things that you have no control over, not only, we say death and taxes, but listen, the medical system and the judicial system, okay? You have zero control. And I didn't even think Baylor would let us move, but my husband said, well, you don't tell them no, we haven't prayed about it. And the third time that we got off of our knees praying, Lord, what do we do about this? I knew I was coming. I knew the Lord was bringing me here. So we began to look at Tyler and everything. Here's what I learned 5 years ago in my due diligence. I mean, I'm looking at Chamber of Commerce. I'm looking at everything. What kind of place is Tyler, Texas? 5 years ago, it was known as a nice retirement area, quite frankly. What was promoted was the great golf courses, and they've got great lakes, and great medical and senior living is at its finest, And so it was promoted a lot as you're in Dallas, and when you retire, you go to Tyler, a little slower pace, a little friendlier atmosphere, and, kick back and do your retirement thing. But here's the deal. That was 5 years ago. That is no longer the case. The Chamber of Commerce has predicted Tyler, Texas to grow at double the national average. Right now, cities are growing at about 3% a year. Tyler, Texas is projected to grow over 6% in the next 2 years. They are already looking at fire stations, new elementary schools, and so when I began to ask some questions to some different ones that I know and giving me some of this information, I said, well, like elementary schools, not high schools, or what, like not all schools? And they said, really? It's the younger families that are coming in, so we have to start with the elementary schools so that we can be ready. And they're already thinking traffic issues. We're already thinking, what's so much traffic? Okay, listen, you don't live in Dallas, so stop whining, okay? So just, that's all I know to say. But I'm saying all that to say things are changing. The demographic of Tyler's changing. And after COVID is when it really began to take a shift to the younger generation, the younger families. Many families begin to realize, I don't know my neighbors. My kids don't have a backyard to play in. Like, I don't want to be in this kind of environment or at this kind of pace. COVID just changed the thinking of a lot of people. So they're coming to Tyler because it offers all of those things. Plenty of shopping, plenty of restaurants and all that, but a friendlier, more neighborhood atmosphere has been very attractive to younger families. Not only that, Tyler hit some list, I don't know exactly which one, someone's list about one of the top 10 friendliest places to live. And some other reports that came out about less crime and some other things like that. I will say that we are very high in the fostering system. We have a lot of fostering children, so just looking at different demographics. But let me tell you this, every Sunday I'm in Connection Suite and we're greeting our guests, our first time guests, our new members, our staff is always out there greeting people. I regularly greet people. Not long ago I met a group, family, and they were from Reno, Nevada. And I said, they said, we're moving here. We would like to know more about the church. And I said, oh, great, I'll tell you. You know, they had 3 little kids. I said, now what brings you to Tyler? Family? And they said, no, we really don't know anyone here. We Googled the church and we found Green Acres because of the children's program. They said this had a great reputation and great reviews on the children's program. And I said, oh, what job? Did job bring you here from Reno? Was it a job? They said, no, neither one of us have jobs. We're both working the medical field. We'll get a job soon. And I'm like, my mind was like, how do you get from Reno, Nevada to Tyler, Texas when you don't know a soul and you don't have a job and you have uprooted your family and you have dropped them in Tyler, Texas? You know, I'm just dying to know. And so this has happened regularly. We talk about it in staff meetings about the people we meet in Connection Suite. And that's when we put it all together. We realized that we hit a list somewhere, but people want to come to a friendly place. They want to come where their needs can be met. They want to come where they can find community and they can find family-oriented atmosphere. And we happen to be one of those places. So I want us to be ready in preparation for things that are coming and what I believe will be growth. We've done some surveys among the moms asking them, how did you find out? A lot of them just Googled. Either we're looking for MOPS, and then moms came up, and this mothers gathering, young mothers, and because of our tagline, navigating motherhood successfully, that will pop up. We try to use keywords and some of the things that we post and some of the tags that we say, try to do all of that. A lot of people have found this moms group because they Googled moms to find something. As we prepare for the coming days, we've got a lot of changes in moms. I think you probably know by this point that Krista Morgan is a mentoring mom, has been for years. She's moving and leaving up that position open. Claire Fisher is the mom's coordinator for the morning. She's going to be stepping back. She's got some things going on in family and some other things. She's going to step back from leadership for a while. Amanda Cross leads our mom's ministry at night, Moms at Night. She is great with child and will be having a baby in January. And so there are some key places that are open that we're going to need to fill, and we don't want ministry to suffer as a result of exponential growth and then shifts in leadership. That's usually a prescription for disaster. When you grow too fast, you don't have the leaders to fill some empty spots in some places. So we're looking at that. I have been praying and asking staff, and every year my review, I'm always asked, what can we do to help women's ministry? What can, as your boss, what can we do to help? For about the last 3 years, I have said we need someone in moms. I need a staff person to help with moms. If you've been at Moms for any length of time, and you were here when Shelley Reel and Carolyn Jackson were running that, y'all, that's a huge, huge volunteer role that they took. I've been in ministry long enough to know that's very abnormal, that 2 volunteers to their own admission is like a part-time job, if not full-time at some weeks, spending that many hours. And I knew that that's not going to, it's not sustainable long term. I mean, their kids are growing at a certain season and they're growing out of that season. But to try to give that many hours to a volunteer, that's highly unusual to do that. And I knew we needed a staff person. So for about 3 years we've been asking. And so those prayers have been answered, and the Lord has brought Laura Benson. I officially, formally introduced her at a previous Moms study where y'all got to meet her and know about her, know her, not only her expertise, but her years of experience with ministering to specific needs of young families, education system. I'll let her talk all about that. So I feel like that the Lord is just moving us all towards a kind of path of growth and expansion and movement. For about these last years, with our volunteer staff and before Laura came on, we had enough leaders, we were able to manage what we had. The growth, we were able to manage that, kind of absorb the new people coming in, and we had plenty of leaders, had plenty of moms, so we didn't have a lot of empty spaces at the table, and so we were able to manage. But over these years, we have not done very much at all as far as strategic, intentional outreach into the community. We're trying to manage those that find us. We are not going out to find people. We just haven't had the bandwidth to do that. But now, as we know that Tyler is taking on that look, I want us to be able to do that. I've talked to Laura. We've talked many times about how do we do that? What does it look like? How do we find the new families moving into the zip codes within a 10-mile radius of this church? How do we find the new moms that are having babies in the hospital? How do we let them know there is a ministry specifically designed to meet your needs, where you can find community and you can talk to other women who are in this same season of life, in this same journey of life? How do we do that? We've not really been able to have those conversations or do some of that. So I'm thrilled that Laura's had some great ideas. I'll let her talk a little bit about some of those in just a little bit. But I wanted to ask you to start thinking about not only inside our church, but now outside into our community. I think there are ways. We haven't quite researched all this yet. We're just getting started on this process about outreach. We've done a great job at managing the in-reach component. But if you've been at Green Acres or a member, you know that our pastor has a vision for 10 new churches in the next 10 years, 10,000 baptism, and a lot of growth, and I want to be ready, 10 campuses. I'm hoping, now that Laura's joined our staff, one of the next things that will happen at the Flint campus can be moms ministry at the Flint campus. A lot of these young families are moving into the suburbs of what they was, not necessarily in the middle of Tyler, but they're going to Bullard and White House. The school systems are apparently excellent reviews and excellent places for public school systems that a lot of cities do not have, but we have a lot. And you know, if you just think about Tyler, how it's surrounded, like I'm in Chandler, and there's White House and Bullard. What are the other places?
Flint.
Troop. What?
Flint.
Flint, yeah, certainly Flint. And there's just all around. And then there's 20 minutes, or 15 to get to Tyler. So all of that. So I'm hoping that as we get new campuses, Moms Ministry will be one of the first ministries that we will start there to reach those young families. Because that, again, is an on-ramp, it's an inroad to bringing a young family into church. So then that the students are ministered to, and the children go to preschool, and the mom and dad and marriage ministry or whatever. So I'd love for you to be thinking of how we can do that. I think there's ways you can find out, you know, get names and even purchase the people that move into your zip codes. You know, that some of that's public record. You can find out. I have found myself as I'm driving around always thinking about this. If I see a yard sign like, oh, baby girl, you're whatever, I'm like, I'm going to take them a gift. And I'm like, you don't know me, but I saw your sign. I know you had a baby. Okay, so here. Give me this gift for you, you know, and then I thought, I don't know, can we call the places that put the signs in the yard? Like, tell us all the people that are having babies, because we want to tell it, you know, we don't know. So I'd love for your input, your ideas, and help us to network about that. Laura and Jerry have actually met together and have already moved forward with a, I don't know, program. I'll let you talk about a little bit more about it, Laura, but a way that we can ask women at the hospital where Jerry works, if that Green Acres Baptist Church left a gift for them, would they be willing to receive that? And to leave some things where Jerry could go in. And that way it's all acceptable to the hospital rules. We don't go in, we don't make some unannounced visit. But Green Acres Baptist Church has left a gift for all new moms. Could we drop that off in your room? That's already in process. Mm-hmm. And just things like that as we start thinking a little bit outside our box and a little bit out of, my four, no more, shut the door, we can get like that. And like, we gotta just manage what we've got. And so we're excited about just doors and ideas that the Lord has been given and want to steward those well. Another interesting concept, we haven't talked a lot about this, but when COVID hit, we immediately went to a high level of online people that were joining us. I had not really thought much about there's not good faith-based solid teaching or programs in different places like Wyoming and Iowa and Idaho and some places like that. The very first time we took anything online, it was March of 2020. Y'all know what that was like. It was a Life Together. If you've been to our Life Together event, we do 1 hour. We do about 40 minutes of teaching, but we do a 1 hour thing. We meet with the girls at your table. It's just a 1 hour, 12 to 1 and 6:30 to 7:30. And so that was the March. So we couldn't meet. The doors were closed. And so Taylor and I were at my big table in my office. If you've never been there, I'm on one side. We're 6 feet apart. She's on the other side. And we take our mask off. And I teach to the camera for the very first time. And so we put it online for our women. This is where the Lord really changed my trajectory and my heart about this. Here's when it happened. As I was teaching to my women, I wanted my women to have the Life Together message. We would normally have about 100 women, 80 to 100, to come to a Life Together. We've been having a great time together. When we put the March Life Together online for our women so they wouldn't miss Life Together, we had over 3,600 views of watching the video. Listen, 3,600 women aren't walking in the door of our church. 100 walk in, maybe, on a good day. Listen, that's the last time I checked. It was well over a year ago, over 3,600. So it was so many, so fast, we started charting them. If you are ever in my office, you will see a big map. You will see pins in every single state on that map because women have connected with us. We put a pin if someone asked us a question, left a prayer request, asked for the handout, hearted us, shared us, anything like that from any state. So every state, and actually there's a section on the side, 21 countries. Women from Indonesia have watched this. Women from India, 21 countries. Y'all, women are starved to death for some level of teaching and connection and community around God's Word. That's when the Lord began to change my heart about, you've got to stop thinking about your women. You've got to start about yours right here in this church and in this community, that the Lord is opening some other doors. I don't know what it would look like to bring a moms online for women in other places that are miles away from a church of any kind. How we could do an online group, but it's something we need to think about. And would love your thoughts and ideas. So I mentioned that Laura has already been at work. She's had a lot of ideas and a lot of things already moving. So I'm going to let her tell a little bit about that. But just wanted you to know, I know that the Lord is getting ready to expand and grow and move this, hopefully to Flint and maybe some other places soon. And you're like the turnkey example. I mean, the Lord has put this together and you have worked at it so well, the leadership, that it just works well. And it meets the needs of women. And listen, I see them coming in. They're like, my kids are sick. I had diarrhea. I broke my ankle, but I'm at mom's. I'm like, I don't even care. I'm not going to miss mom's, And I'm like, it's something they need. It's meeting a need. So thank you for that. And thank you for thinking, how do we continue to do this? So Laura, I wanted you to come up and just share a little bit maybe about yourself to those that were not there that day. And then maybe some ideas and other things where we can go to from here.
Okay, well, I'm Laura Benson, and it's so good to see y'all. Some of y'all have gotten to meet, I think, before the last time we met in November, and I'm seeing some new faces that I haven't gotten to meet. So I'm terrible with names, so give me some patience there. But it's so good to be here, y'all. I am just beyond excited and grateful about what God's doing here in the Moms Ministry. And in the short time that I've been here, it has definitely been very evident at the work that has gone in already. You guys have a long history of building this program, and it shows. It's amazing to see also, as I've kind of done my homework just around the area, to see that y'all have the PM program that I don't know is around this area right now. That's a really special thing for moms who can't get here in the AM. The AM program is booming as well, so it's really exciting to see what y'all have done, and I'm really thankful for y'all and your commitment and your time that you've put into this already. And I'm excited about what God's doing, because it's very clear, I agree with Debbie, that He's opening doors, and the sky's the limit. With God, everything's impossible. So I wanted to open with a scripture that I'm going to be adding to our memory verse tomorrow and Wednesday. It comes from our holiday edition. What a special Bible study that's going on right now. I hope y'all are maybe getting to plug in, but if not, it is one special study. 1 Thessalonians 5:23 tells us, "Now may the God of peace himself sanctify you completely, and may your whole spirit, soul, and body be kept sound and blameless at the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. He who calls you is faithful, he will do it." And, you know, God promises us as our Jehovah Jireh to provide for us spiritually, physically, and emotionally. And the longer I walk this earth, the more I know day by day how much I need Him. I can't do it alone. And I don't think He meant for us to do it alone, but so many of us women are doing this alone. We're handling a great load by ourselves, and it doesn't need to be that way. Right now at the Christmas season, we see all the beautiful trees and lights outside, and also in Genesis 2, we see that God made all kinds of trees grow out of the ground, trees that were pleasing to the eye and good for food. We see all kinds of trees in our forests and fields, and we see all kinds of women. We see women from, like Debbie was saying, all over the world. We see them coming to Texas. We see them coming to Tyler. Just in my neighborhood alone, I'm meeting new friends from all over the country. And it's really exciting, and it's kind of fun. One of my husband's friends moved away to Arizona, and he came back. He said, "I miss the hospitality." He said, "There's nowhere like East Texas." He said, "I swear, when he first moved here, I can't believe how friendly everyone is." And I guess we take it for granted because I've grown up in this area. Everybody is friendly, and so that's a pretty neat, special thing about our area. But when you think about the women that we have, you know, from different backgrounds, each woman has her own story, maybe even her own culture and language, her own different educational background. We're all different, and we're all unique in our own way. And when you think about harvesting a field, and you look at different plans and ways to do this, some harvesters will take the field completely and empty it of all the trees in the field. And then when they replant, the saplings are by themselves in the scorching heat, trying to figure this growth process out. But other harvesters look at it a little more strategically when they're planning a harvest. And they look carefully at the mother trees, if you will. The trees who are more mature, they have endured drought, storm. They are maybe have a few more rings around the middle, I don't know. But you know, those rings are evidence of God's grace and what they have endured. And I think as we look forward to Mom's Ministry, I think it is such a special thing to look around the room right now and see mother trees right here in our own fields, just ready for the harvest, ready to provide shade and nurturing, and just, you know, an immense amount of experience with our young friends who are coming to Moms. Those are pretty special things and pretty vital. You guys are the heartbeat of this ministry, and without you, it's not possible. And so I think about also some of the data. We're a very data-driven society, but when we look at parenting, we see that it is a challenging thing. And we hear it all the time. Kids don't come with a manual, right? They don't come with instructions. But whenever we can walk alongside our younger friends, we can help provide some of those things that we've learned maybe the hard way. When we look at our country as a whole, year by year, we're seeing fewer and fewer young families with that emotional support system in their lives. And you would think after COVID, we would have seen some maybe growth. And I know there's so many initiatives, but we're not. We're seeing the numbers decline a little bit more and more. And with every, area, we see maybe things a little different trending based on, that particular uniqueness of the area. But what we do see is that women, when they come alongside someone, a peer, an informal network such as moms, who can provide them with that emotional support, that spiritual support, we see families grow stronger. And as we see each family grow stronger, we see our communities grow stronger. And we see this organic growth or multiplication, if you will, of this beautiful thing that God is doing right here among us. We see that women that come to the groups, they take things away with them, like more confidence in themselves as they go home to continue raising their kiddos. We see some things like decreased isolation, which is huge for our girls and for each of us too. Overall, we see that these women also are recognizing a need for self-care. Sometimes as women, we go and we go and we go and we go, and we don't stop to take a breath. And so I'm excited to see almost 150 total women registered just for the fall that have been coming pretty regularly to receive that nourishment. And that is something that's just a really beautiful thing for me to see. Someone who's new to Tyler. I've been in Longview for a while, but I grew up in Irving, and our parents came to this area to take care of my grandparents, and we stayed. Now I'm moving to Tyler to take care of my mom and my dad, and we have family here, so it's kind of been a beautiful, bittersweet season, kind of stepping out of education. I've been there for a little while and stepping into a kind of a different role. As you have aging parents, sometimes our roles change a little bit there, so we're kind of going through some of those growing pains as well. I'll be a grandparent, God willing, in February. We had a baby shower yesterday, so that'll be our first baby girl. So fun things, growth seasons. And I see the women's ministry here, and I told Debbie this when we were first visiting Green Acres, we were a little overwhelmed because of the size and the number, but there's so much intentionality in the women's ministry. This woman called me on the phone. I'm like, how does Debbie Stewart even know my name? She's calling me, inviting me to lunch, inviting me to sit at a Cultivate table. And you guys, that is just something that's priceless. And that's something y'all are providing for these women. They're getting the courage to walk through the doors and come, and you guys are meeting them with open arms. And that is something that's invaluable. I know from my experience, just the women's ministry has been a lifeline for me, being new in town and not knowing anyone. And so I'm excited to offer the same open arms as we have new moms come and old moms come that I'm getting to know and meet. But I'm pretty excited about, like I said, what God is doing. And I think that we have a golden opportunity to share the gospel, to share our wisdom, to share a smile, to open our arms to new friends and old ones. There's a lot of ideas that we are kind of throwing around as we brainstorm, and you guys may have some ideas we would love to hear. You may have some friends you have talked to who might be interested in stepping in and trying a role. We would love to talk to them. Have them give us a call. I'm always available to talk. One of the things Debbie touched on was the nursery. And Miss Jerry has shared with me quite a bit of information about Trinity Mother Francis, and the outright number of children that were born last year really blew me away. 3,000 plus an additional.
3,000 plus just at our hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So that is an amazing opportunity to be able to have the chance to maybe reach out to some friends and family or some people who are new to the area who don't have a church home. And that's something else that's impressed me at how many women are coming to the moms groups that may or may not be in a church home, may or may not be a member of Green Acres. And I love that y'all have the availability, PM, AM, very reasonable, requirements financially to come in and take part of this really great program. We have an amazing preschool at Green Acres, and lots of women bring their children for daycare each day as they go to work. That is something else that, we would love to make sure they're available of the opportunity to come join us at Moms. Lee Evans and I have joined hands and made some home visits because the woman doesn't lie. If anyone is even showing remotely, they are on the trail. So it is definitely on the radar. And so we've had the pleasure to meet some new families in our area and some new moms and dads, and that's been a lot of fun to go reach out to them as well. So we have a lot of great ideas, and we'd love your feedback, and we'd love to just move forward and see where God takes us in the new year. I know He's got great plans for us.
Well, we've talked a lot, so stay here, Laura, for just a second.
Sure.
So any questions that you have, any thoughts, what's rolling around right now? Yes.
I have some ideas. I think it would be great to connect with midwives in the area, because a lot more
Okay.
women are coming here and using midwives, and there's most of the midwives I know are believers, and so
Okay.
it feels like they would be open to
That
having those
is
gifts at
a-
their offices, because they see the women at 2 days, at 2 weeks, and they go to their houses, so they
Okay.
can bring it to their house if they say yes, and so that could be a good
That
option.
is a great idea. I've not even thought
Mhm.
about that. And our own Taylor is having a baby,
I know.
and she's gonna be
I
using
know, I
a
talked to her
midwife,
today.
and so, yeah, that is a great idea.
That is really great.
What other, thoughts?
My other thought is to do it online. Zoom has breakout rooms, so if you could either do it at the same time, or you could record whatever the speakers are,
Okay.
and have a set time, and you could do a questionnaire to connect women online that have similar, like they both have 3 kids, they both have boy moms or whatever.
Okay.
Connect them, and then they would be in a group, and on Zoom, you can set them in, like, you could have like 30 minutes of speaker, and then 15-20 minutes of breakout, and the breakout's only the people in their group, so they get to connect with moms face to face on Zoom. Every week it's the same people, and you could, they could share information and be friends online. That's an option.
Love it.
For
That is one of the big takeaways that we've had this technology for so long, but COVID made us use it. And I think we try to look on the positive side of things, and that really is a really great idea. And it happens all the time. People use that frequently. It's a great
Very
idea.
good. Love that. Those are the things, yeah. We're just thinking and dreaming, and any other thoughts, questions?
I love the
Yeah.
daycare idea, and more than just this daycare,
Yeah.
other daycares, especially like in August, because we kind of think of moms as back to school, but
Yeah.
a working mom, a lot of them work.
For
all
the
year.
summer.
That's right.
So if we got something to them in the 1st of August to go home in
That's right.
bags,
That's
that
right.
would be a great way to
That's right.
do it. Because I
Laura,
know, like, my daughter-in-law, and then they all go to a different church. But I think basically their whole table at Night Moms is from South Springs.
Yeah.
But they don't have it.
I don't have it.
And so they love being able to come, and that maybe just letting other churches know, we have this at night.
Love it. One of the things I'm always asking, it hasn't happened yet, so it'll come soon, but on the side of our church, so like when our Espanol campus started, there was a big, huge banner, so anybody driving,
Yeah.
like I've already asked like 5 times, can moms have the big banner, so far it's no for now, because it either comes at, well, our Espanol campus, our Filipino campus is starting, or the pastor's starting a new series, so one of these days they're gonna tell me, yes, that moms gets the banner. Like, I didn't even ask for the banner for Bible study. I want the banner for moms, because I know that there are moms driving up and down that highway, that would see that and go, oh, I didn't know they had that there. We have women coming, oh, I didn't know you had that. How are they gonna know? It's hard to It's hard to communicate. I'm not gonna be on stage making announcements on Sunday. We don't hand out bulletins to everybody. And it's not that we're necessarily trying to reach those in our church, we are, but we're also trying to reach those that are driving by our church as well. So it really comes with personal touch. That's what we've learned. Somebody connected somebody. Somebody said something. Somebody shared something online. So we want to get a little better at that as well.
We also do like flyers at coffee shops
Okay.
and Fresh
Yeah.
and places that moms go, or where there's like kid playgrounds.
Yes.
Or restaurants that have, you know, if they have a little bulletin area.
Yes.
I
Good.
thought about that the other day, just pinning them up.
Mhm.
So, I mean, and I'd be willing to, you know, if I need to hit the restaurants and go out to eat a few times, you know.
It's ministry at its
Yes,
finest. Ministry at its finest.
Absolutely.
Well, and speaking of daycares, you could hit up other Mother's Day out to hit
Okay.
morning moms.
Mm-hmm.
It's ironic because my table that I think about, they're mostly non-Green Acres members.
Yeah, a lot. About
So-
60% of moms are not members of Green Acres.
Yeah.
And some are not, they check unchurched at, you know, it's not like, oh, go to South Springs, or they're unchurched. They needed a place to connect with other moms, and they love it.
Is it
Love it.
linked, is moms linked in the information, like in the children's ministry information?
Not as good as it could be. So that's another thought is, you know, we
If I'm looking at Green Acres and I'm looking at their children's
Children's.
programs, because it's not MOPS.
right, that's right.
We have a different name,
right.
so if you're
Right.
Googling it, it might not come up.
That's right, that's right. And one of the reasons we changed it from MOPS to moms, not only to take out kind of the, even though we do crafts from time to time, they do weekly crafts or whenever they meet. We bring in the spiritual aspects, which MOPS does not have. But we changed it ever so slightly to moms because when you Google moms gathering or MOPS gathering, it's not
It
too
comes
far under the Google search.
Okay.
We're not number one, you know, but we're not too far down that you can say, oh, it's not MOPS, but it's moms. Okay, well, what is it? So we're still up there. And we have placed some ads. We'll continue to do this. This is a new thing. We've paid for some ads on Facebook so that if they search a certain thing or you know, moms or baby shower, baby registry or something like that, that it can start to pop up in their search. You know, we get all upset about that when I was looking for a mattress. Then for 2 months I got mattress ads. You know, I'm like, I don't need a mattress. But now I'm like, yes, they search for something and we get to tell you about something. So I don't know, it works both ways.
I don't know if you have a connection at ETMC, but that's another option for you. They have about 70 to 100 deliveries a month over there.
Okay.
And then I was wondering, do we have any advertisement on KVNE or KGLY?
We have
For
not
moms.
done paid advertisement on radio, but we are willing to do
I think
that.
they have a community board or some kind of a community.
Okay, free
I know
free
that-
advertising?
Yeah, I know they do all the
Like Facebook
VBSs and stuff.
You
Okay,
can put it on their calendar too.
Mhm.
very good,
That's
very
what-
good.
A community calendar.
Yeah.
Great, did not know that, very good. Love knowing that.
Yeah. That's really awesome.
And then one more piece of good news before I let y'all go, that this is, hopefully will start spurring on other ideas and thoughts. If y'all were in church Sunday, do y'all remember Hickson saying at the end, next Sunday, there's gonna be a special called business meeting? Does anybody remember him saying that? So Sunday, at the end of the service, Hickson said, because it's in our bylaws, that you have to announce a special called business meeting before, let me get my notes on this, before you actually have the business meeting. So this coming Sunday, at the end of the service, there's going to be a special called business meeting. Do you know what that's about? It's about approving our playground. We're building a playground. Y'all have the insider information. This has not been released yet, but I asked Hickson today for permission to share it with our mom's leadership. And he said to be sure that you knew, this is where we are at this point, that we're voting on it on Sunday, and that the church will have to approve it. But so far, the kids ministry, the executive office, the pastor's office, the plans and priorities committee, the finance committee, the building and ground, along with the deacons, have already approved it already. So now it just needs the final vote of the church body. And if we say yes, so I asked him, I said, so how long are we looking? He said, if the church votes yes, we sign the contracts and they'll start breaking ground.
Oh, wow.
So y'all, I'm excited. You fought for that, you asked for that, we did as well, because right now, I'm hearing from moms, we have to do play dates at some other place because we don't have a playground for our kids. So we don't stay here, we don't eat lunch here, because there's no place for our children. Well, that's about to change. So I'm hoping that in itself can be another drawing place.
Yeah.
things, really start promoting play dates and cafe, and we'll do something with the cafe, like Kids Eat Free, or we'll get with them about some specials for all of that. So I thought you might enjoy that good news as well.
I have one more idea.
Yeah.
A little business card about moms, when you're talking to your friends,
Yes.
you can just hand them a business card that has all the contact information on
Yeah.
it.
We have one of those that probably needs to be updated, but that's a great, but to get back into the routine of asking you, hey, just keep these in your purse, or the little slip on the back of your phone or something. If y'all know Shelley Real, if you were here when she was, listen, that woman, I was in a restroom stall one time, and I heard her talking to, we had gone to lunch, and she was talking to a girl that had a baby. I saw your baby carriage. Do you know we have the moms? And I'm like, I'm in the first stall, she's in the second stall, and this woman is in the third stall. And I am trying not to crack up laughing. Yes, we have moms on Thursdays. I said, she will invite anybody, anywhere, at any time. That's her heart. It's just she got used to that. And I thought, I want to do that, you know. I'm trying to stalk women, you know. I saw you had a baby. I saw you had a carriage with you. But anyway, that's what I wanted to share. It's just appreciation for what you have done and anticipation for what I believe the Lord is getting ready to do. And asking that you'll continue to be a part of that with us. Any other thoughts, comments, questions? Yes.
Just a thought, this fall, since we only had the 5 meetings, I would love to go back to more like 8, like we
Yeah,
used to.
same.
It's
Very
really-
good.
I mean, it takes us a long time to get to know them.
Is this AM or PM?
AM.
AM,
We
okay.
only had 5 meetings this year, because we started so late.
Yes.
I think we had 1 in September.
Okay.
And the girls are ready to start once,
We wanna
If
start
they have
early
a
September.
kindergarten-
You do want to start earlier in September?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me give you the reason why we did not, but I believe I could get an exception for this, is our church body has something called, what's that called? It's, the big leadership summit. We have the leadership summit. And so they were trying to keep everything from starting at different times. Children's choir starts here, women's ministry Bible study starts here, but mom starts here, the schools start. So everybody was trying to get on the same page. But what that did for us is it pushed moms back. It pushed women's Bible study back a little bit as well, so that it all happens after summit. And not only did they wait till after school started, they waited till after college started as well. And I too felt like that's a little late. I felt a little bit behind on the 8 ball, and I'm going, we're missing some opportunities. I do believe I could get the exception for
that
moms.
just gives us that much more.
That's a great idea.
To get to know them. before
So
they
what
get
would
the
be
songs.
ideal? Late August or before Labor Day, after Labor Day? What's ideal?
Right after Labor
Right after Labor Day.
At least 2 meetings in September.
At least 2 meetings in September.
And if we could, 2 meetings every month, like this time, we had 1 in September, 1 in November, 1 in December. So
Really?
it's just not very
I
many
didn't-
times, you
Well, it
know?
was because of how they
Oh, okay.
tried to really match morning and evening moms.
That we do.
And we
do.
had Halloween on Tuesday night,
That's true.
and so they didn't have something on
That's
Wednesday
true.
morning.
I
And
remember that.
I made a comment to a mom, not a mentor mom, but a mom. I said, well, why didn't y'all just meet somewhere at a park if y'all wanted to meet that bad, you know?
Yeah.
But they
But-
like to meet here because
Yeah.
there's childcare.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's food and there's all the good things.
Especially for those that are.
busy moms.
It does. It meets their need in another way.
A place for their kids.
That's right.
Well,
That's
and
right.
something else you can think about, I know we always meet on 1st and 3rd, but it could have worked out because of how Halloween fell, and there were 5 Wednesdays,
That's-
Tuesdays and Wednesdays in November, it could have worked out that we could have just shifted them.
Yeah,
I know it could have been like a back-to-back meeting, but you could have shifted December's meeting as well,
That's
and we
true.
still would have gotten 1 extra meeting in. So I don't know if maybe
That's a
that
good
hard
point.
1st and 3rd has to be, or if we can kind of work things around, like spring
Probably
break and
depends on the
Thanksgiving.
nursery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, and part of it is a way to publicize. So like when we drop things off at the hospital, where it's the 1st and 3rd, it's the first. So if
Right.
you start changing that too much, so everybody knows it's always the 1st and 3rd. It doesn't
Yeah.
change,
Group and
but
they have a leader, then it's easy to communicate, cause we have
Yeah.
text messages
Yes, you
directly
do.
with the women, so at least you don't change the 1st or 2nd
That's-
maybe, but after that, we can all like literally.
if we
on
know far
television,
enough in
you know,
advance,
Right.
like if we know where Halloween's gonna fall in 2024, I mean,
Yeah.
you could do a schedule far enough in advance.
And I know this was just a weird.
Yeah,
year.
it did,
Like,
yeah,
it just
it
was.
fell weird, yeah,
Yeah.
it did, all of it did.
Um,
Very good. See, that I didn't know that, so thank you.
One other
See,
question I have, is there an opportunity next year to do a leaders retreat? We did it like 4 years ago?
Yes,
I don't remember.
You did,
Shelley did it.
you did.
That was my first year, and that was my favorite year because I actually got to know all the other mentor moms.
okay,
And it was just like a Friday night or a Saturday, it was like a Friday night, and then you could stay the night or you could go home.
was that at Libby Dixon's place, do I remember that correctly?
It was at Steve Smith's.
Smiths, the
Okay,
Smiths, Stephen
okay.
Susan Smiths.
Smith's. But I just feel like there was more like connectivity with the
Okay.
leaders. Like I don't really get to know anyone this year besides my girls, but it was just so nice to have a dedicated time for the leaders to connect so that we could stay connected throughout the year and just have,
That's good,
I guess, a deeper bond and friendships. Like I still have really good mom friends that I've met from that retreat because you just spend
You
24
do.
hours with them or whatever.
that's a
So-
great idea, let me tell you where that went, is when I first came, that was the Leaders Retreat, but then, you know, not long after that, when COVID hit, and so all the meeting kind of stopped, and then we tried to get it going again, there was not much, that we had one scheduled, but there just wasn't enough sign up, I mean, there were like 8 out of the 26 or something that could do that, and I know things happen, but I think if we could really up the planning and up the part of that and make it to where it's something doable, whatever, Friday night and Saturday till noon, I mean, not your whole weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
But just a time that would be meaningful, would be beneficial, would be valuable and helpful, that you felt like, you know what, I'm gonna make this happen, because this is gonna be very helpful evening for me, and really to treat y'all and to provide some fun stuff, and
It
we'd
was
love
so
to do
fun.
that,
It
we'd
was
love
so
to do,
fun.
that's a
We
great
played
idea.
games and everyone brought food, so it wasn't like
Yeah.
a big responsibility, like
That's
we all
right.
brought dessert.
And it all just kind of declined with COVID, and it was kind of hard to ramp back, you know, COVID, that's another thing about COVID, the comeback from COVID was a lot harder than anybody thought it was gonna be. Not only the physical comeback, the spiritual
Yeah.
comeback was harder than, listen, I've been dealing with that, we've been praying for a spiritual awakening among women for quite some time, as long as I've been here, and boy, COVID hit us hard. We all thought, oh, everybody's so ready to come back, but they're like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch this in my pajamas,
Yeah.
and you know what? I don't even have to watch my own pastor. I can watch any pastor I want to in the whole United States, you know, and things changed. And, I'm ready to get back to the other side of that, I really am. So thank you, I think that's a great idea, and I love things like that. Good deal, anything else, any other, hopefully we've got you thinking.
One thing that's different this year is we don't have leaders meeting once a month, and that may be better
That's
for,
right, we
for
have,
y'all, but as a new mentor mom, that's how I knew who the leaders were.
Well, now explain to me about leaders meeting, did that happen after mom?
After moms.
Y'all went to
we
lunch or
stayed for-
something?
No, we
Just
just stayed
15
for like
minutes.
half an hour.
Okay.
11:45, we would start a meeting and maybe it'd be 20 minutes or
Okay,
something.
once a month? Once a month.
The first-
I did not know
first
about leaders meeting.
First meeting of the month, and we would stay about, maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Okay,
And then we would pray together and.
Okay.
and-
Share prayer requests.
okay, good, I did not know about that.
It may be harder for the moms to stay a little bit longer, and that may be why we don't do that, but it was helpful as a new mentor mom
Sure,
to get to know the other table moms and the other mentor
Sure.
moms.
well, we'd love your recommend, we could extend childcare, yeah, we certainly can.
12:30 or something, it wasn't very long, it was just, yeah.
Just a little bit to connect, I love that, and, love you to be thinking about some of your friends or other people that can help step into some mentoring mom roles, and we can open some more tables. I don't want anybody on a waiting list, we're working hard with childcare to be sure no one is ever on moms on a waiting list, and that's been a hard thing to do, I'll tell you the truth, that's been a hard fight.
I didn't know if you knew that me and Nancy serve a table together. I don't know if that's something that's like breaking a rule or what, but for us, it's really helped. And I think if I didn't have Nancy, I wouldn't be able to do it because of my responsibilities with my mother.
Sure.
And different things.
So
but-
like co-leading,
Yeah,
y'all
we
co-lead a
co-lead
table,
a
I love
table.
it, I love
And
it.
it's been, at first I thought, oh, the girls aren't gonna like this, they're gonna either, you know, like want her more or me, or, you know,
Yeah,
they equally,
They love
it's
it.
just been a real beautiful thing.
okay,
And then our friendship, me and Nancy's, and prayer for each other and the girls, but that's, in trying to recruit other
mm-hmm,
leaders, there might be some people that are really heavily involved taking care of their parents,
mm-hmm.
but maybe could feel like I can do this with a
I like
partner.
that too, where the responsibility wouldn't seem overwhelming, and that's what we're,
Yes, cause I've
trying to
been through
eliminate
some
some of that.
seasons with my mom And so Nancy hosts and I help, but it's just, and it's been back
Yeah,
and forth that way. So it's just an idea,
Like it, I
and
like it,
we've been doing it probably 3 years now, I think.
love it.
That's some good insight.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Any other thoughts? Well, great.
I hope we've gotten some things stirred up in your mind and excitement about moving forward and then what it's gonna look like when we get the playground. We're gonna do a big deal at the groundbreaking. I told Dixon, I said, I don't know how I can get one of those shovels, but I wanna be there when you cut the scissors, when you get the shovel. I need to represent some women, okay, please,
So
let me do
is
that.
it a playground like not part of the daycare and?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. It is my understanding that it's gonna be right outside the cafe.
Mhm.
That's the location of it. So not behind lock and key where you cannot get, well, I mean, it might be like at night or whatever, but,
Will there be a fence?
oh, yes, oh, yes.
Around, so.
Oh, yeah, that's my understanding. Now, listen, all of that is, I'm not in a lot of those meetings, but in the preliminary meetings, that's what we talked about. That location outside the cafe,
We can walk
to
our
where it will be
children in.
open to the public. It's really like that. Throw them in there and
You
know,
like worry
that's-
about them running in the street.
we hope they're alive when we get done talking. We just hope they're still alive. But so there's a lot, and how we'll use that to try to communicate to the community as well. Be another great inroad. So, well, let me pray for us. Father, thank you for just a time to get together to appreciate you and to thank you for the open doors, Lord, the blessing that you have given Mom's Ministry, the growth and the favor that you have given and the help to moms. I'm so thankful for that. I pray you could please continue to give us ideas and thoughts about how to be prepared for those that you're bringing to us, how to help them grow spiritually, to speak truth into their life, how to champion their faith, how to help them navigate motherhood successfully. Things have changed so much, and that they would just find community, that they would find friendship here, that they would feel loved here and supported here in so many ways. Thank you for those that have served for so many years and their passion and their love for young families. And I pray, Lord, your richest and greatest blessing upon them. I pray that our greatest days in Mom's Ministry are yet ahead as you continue to make a way for us. We sure thank you and bless you tonight. In your name I pray.